So today we have with us Mr. Shamir, yes, founder of IT Projects, Media Marketing and Communication, who will be enlightening us on the topic building blocks of startup entrepreneurship. So before I hand over the floor to Mr. Shamir, let me give a brief introduction of Mr. Shamir. Mr. Shamir, with 14 years of experience in organic SEO, SMO, ORM branding, UX UI design, brand storytelling, consulting, SEM, and digital marketing under his belt, Shamir's philosophy is to bring true value to branding and digital marketing process. His brief stint as a scriptwriter with an animated explainer video firm in Coimbatore helped him win an award for its animated explainer video at the national level from the Election Commission of India in the year 2015. He strives to guide and enable students and professionals to chalk out their own startup ventures. Some of the startups are founder IT Media Marketing and Communications, co-founder by the Startups and SME Community Platform, founder Cognitio Biztainment Platform, head startup Tamil Nadu North Kovai Community Circle Government of Tamil Nadu. He also sits on the board of studies for Avinashi Lingam Deemed University and is a member of various coveted bodies. He revels in churning out stories of anything from anywhere. Shamir is also a trained vocalist and ran a successful music band. With this brief introduction, now I request Mr. Shamir to please take over the session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the introduction, sir. I hope I'm audible, sir.
Yeah, you are very much audible, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. So first, I would like to thank CMA for the opportunity. I think the relationship with CMA has been around 6 years from now, ever since Mrs. Priya, who was was working previously as a coordinator. It's all started from her. I'm very happy that I'm part of Monday Musing, and I also recall memories of attending Monday Musings at PhD Tech or I don't know, PhD Tech or MBA MBA college, business management college there. So I mean it was it was conducted by PhD Tech at those time. I don't know if it's still being conducted offline, physical, but I was said that most meetings now are being connected online. I hope that we are all physical. I think we are physical meetings are always enterprising and enticing. So in that manner, anyways, it all helps because communication can happen both ways, and I'm so happy to be part of Monday Musings. So today's topic, building blocks of a startup entrepreneurship. So before I move into it, there are around 17, 18 people, sir. I'm 21 now, 21. So let me, I think sir has given a brief introduction about me. So let me introduce myself as Shamir. I am a part of Tanzim Tamil Nadu Startup Innovation Mission. I'm heading Coimbatore North Community Circle. Prior to that, I founded a company called IT Projects Media in 2016 in Coimbatore. And after that, I founded a community called By the Startups. So By the Startups is a startup community for startups, established businesses, SMEs, MSMEs, investors, mentors, anybody in the ecosystem. Like we have institutional, like CMA, we have institutional partners as well, like Nirmala College, PSG Arts and Science as well. So we have tied up with around 35 colleges to date in the area of entrepreneurship. We have been helping students with entrepreneurship and helping them in different areas of startup entrepreneurship. And of course, we are connected to a few incubators and accelerators here as well. We are connected to Sri Ramakrishna Engineering College Incubator Spark. And of course, we have been working with AIC Race, Codicia, and a number of incubator accelerators like Forge as well. And I co-founded another company, another startup called Cognitio. That was earlier this year, February, which is into training and edutainment, the biztainment platform. So it's a biztainment as well as edutainment platform. So these are the three companies that I have co-founded. Well, of course, one is a community, as I said. Right. So we have around 17 participants here. I hope that I'm able to retain those 17 participants and I don't see numbers going down below this 15. Of course, not going to demotivate me. It's going. I'm going to continue talking to you. But then, if we have a good number, yes, more number of people are, of course, going to benefit better. So, what is a startup basically? Let me ask people here, those 17 individuals who are there, members who are there of the meet, what really is a startup? So, give me a definition of what startup is.
Participants, you all have access. You can put your answer in chat, or you can unmute and ask.
So what exactly is a startup in your definition? I mean, it can be your own definition. So anybody can be right or wrong here. I'm not telling that I'm the most perfect here, right? My definition can be right or wrong here, but this is my understanding of what startup is.
So Mr. Palniappan has mentioned starting a company from scratch.
Okay, something that is started from scratch is also good. It's also a good definition of what a startup. Any more definitions? Any more definition that you can come up with? So solution provider in a small way. So that is another definition by Priyadarshini. So starting a company from scratch, solution provider in a small way. So these are the two definitions that I got. Both are correct in one way or the other. I think my definition of startup. Well, anyways, before I go into the definition, let me ask you a very simple question. Of course, let it make it very interactive. Yes, we have this meeting group chat. People who know the answer can really make effective use of the chat. Or you can. Is there any way to unmute the mic and talk? Yes, you can also unmute the mic.
Yes, sir. They can unmute and talk.
Yeah, they can unmute and you can share your answers as well. So let it be more interactive, one-on-one here. So before going for the definition of what a startup is, let me ask you another simple question. If you could know the answer, if you may know the answer, please come up with an answer for this question. Why is India land of opportunities? If I say India is a land of opportunities, I'm asking you a question. Why is India termed a land of opportunities? If you can come up with an answer, I can very well relate to the first question that I asked, what is a startup? Yes. Why is India a land of opportunities? Yes. Any answer that I can you can come up with?
So
why is India?
Well, India is an emerging economy. We have a high number of middle class. We have the youngest population, and the consumer market is good. And addition to that, globalization is also adding for cultural changes. Now people are open from the conservative way to move global.
Okay. So can you see the screen here, my PPT?
I think you started sharing, sir. It's yet to come.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So how many shots? So can you see now?
No, I am not able to see, sir.
Okay.
Maybe Narasimhan sir, screen has come, sir.
No, screen has not come. It has to come.
Or not come. It has
okay.
to come.
Okay. So I'm just seeing what can be done because I'm not used to Zoom. I'm more Gmeet, Google Meet.
Google Meet, yeah. No, you started sharing, but it is taking time to share. Probably bandwidth or.
So I've already started sharing it.
Yeah. It's showing that you have started sharing, but screen is yet to
So which means that it will be visible.
Screen is not visible.
Yeah. Okay. Can you view now?
No,
not really.
Not really, sir.
Okay. So before, anyways, let it come. When I really.
Yeah, it has come now. It has come now.
Okay, fine. So it has come now.
Yeah.
So, right, what the question that I've asked, the question that I posed you is two questions. What is a startup? And one is, and another is, why is India a land of opportunities? And, I came up with different questions. Companies, a startup a company from scratch, something done in a very small way, two answers that I got. And third, why is India as a land of opportunities? I got an answer like, India is an emerging economy, have a lot of opportunities, market access, employability, youth, all those things. Yes, both are correct. But let me connect you with the two dots that I asked you. First, what is a startup? And India is a land of opportunities. India is a land of opportunities because India is a land of problems. That's it, right? India has a lot of problems. Whether you deny it or not, right? Whether you agree with me or not, but you can't deny the point that India is a land of problems. We have a lot of problems to be solved. So, which means that there are thousands of problems that remains unsolved. So that is the first point. So India is a land of opportunities because we have a lot of problems that still remains unsolved. So that is the first point. So what is the definition of a startup now, right? So now we have come to what is a startup. So this is called a lean model canvas. Don't worry about the technicalities, right? It's called a business model or a lean model canvas. There are two types of business model. One is a...
Sir, sorry to interrupt. Would you mind going for slideshow, sir?
Okay. Okay. So how do I do that? Yes.
You have to go on full screen, sir. Full screen.
Okay. Okay. So what's that? Okay. Okay, let me do that for one participant. So how do I do that, sir?
Sir, to go to slideshow mode, so there will be a small cup-like icon at the bottom. You can click that, sir.
So that's a shortcut. If you could press F5.
F5, yes. Okay. So which means that I have to do in my PPT, right, sir?
Yeah. PPT, I'm able to see at the bottom, come down on the right-hand side, there will be one cup icon.
Okay.
Cup icon, like a wine cup icon.
So let me
scroll down. Yes. Now we are able to see.
Okay.
Just have to scroll down.
Okay. Fine. Okay. Right.
So perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Perfect.
Okay. Fine. So this is unlike Gmeet. Okay. Anyways, so let me. I think now it's more clear, sir.
Yeah, better, sir. Perfect, sir.
Okay. Right. So this is what the components of a business model or a lean model canvas is about. Okay, so we call it as business model. There's another model called lean model, but other than that, there are no technicalities involved here. You can see that I have earmarked certain things here: problem, solution, the USP, right? The revenue streams, right? So if you can just connect the dots again, you can see that a startup is something that solves a problem. Okay, a startup is something that solves a problem. So that is the first point here, and it should have something which is very unique to what your competitors do. Should have a unique advantage. Yeah, unique advantage is nothing but something which your competitors can never replicate or will not be able to replicate, right? So that is called a USP or a something that can't be replicated. No, I'll call it as something which is unique, right? In simple words. So it should have a startup should solve a problem. It should identify a problem first, right? It should break down the problem. It should find the solution to it. Simple. So that's the first definition. Next thing, whatever solution that we have come up with, it should be unique. And the next most important point, the revenue stream, the sixth point, the sixth block I have highlighted it, revenue streams. So any startup should be scalable. Any startup should have a revenue model or a business model. So if you can combine all those things, I'll put it for you again. A startup is something which solves a problem, right? It should identify a problem, it should break down a problem, it should define a problem, it should have a solution. From the solution come the ideas. And when you have ideas, the idea or the solution should be something which is really unique in the market, which can't be replicated by your nearest rivals or competitors, right? And it should also have a business model or a a revenue model as such. I'll put it as business model for you. So you got the idea of it. So that is why I started from the point that India is a land of opportunities because India is a land of problems. So identify the problems around you. All that you need to do in order to start a startup is to find the problems around you. Get up in the morning and till you hit the pillow, and until you sleep at night, what are the problems that you face? Now, don't say your father is a problem, your mother is a problem, or your wife is a problem. Someone asked me, is there any startup, to shut my wife's mouth? Right? There is no startup at all. But don't tell me that your dog is a problem or your wife is a problem. That are not problems at all. No, we are talking about problems that are scalable, that have social impact, that is a burning problem, not just for you, for millions of other individuals like you, right? So these are the kind of problems that you need to identify. So let me put it again. A startup is a company that's, a startup is something that solves a problem, right? It should have a solution, a concrete solution or an idea. This idea should be very unique in the market. It should not be, or it shouldn't be replicated or initiated by any by the nearest rivals in the marketplace, and it should have a workable business model or a revenue model. So this is what a typical definition of a startup is all about. I hope we are clear with this startup. So we can go on with the next slide. So this is the basic, this is the basic cycle of a startup. This concept stage, pre-seed, seed, the startup stage, early stage, mid-growth or growth stage, later stage, or we can also say later growth stage or growth stage, whatever it is. There are a lot of terms for it, but it all refers to the same concept or the process. So what is a concept stage? This is where your idea is, right? Before we go on to the idea, whatever problem that you come out with, be sure that it should have a purpose first. Now, purpose is the most valuable or the most important point of a problem stage. So why do I need to solve this problem? Is this really a problem? If it's a problem, well, what is the purpose behind it? What is the purpose behind selecting this problem? So what is the purpose behind solving this problem? So that should be the first thing that you need to keep in the mind. So it starts with the problems. It starts with the problem statement, but before that, that is the purpose statement. So purpose, problem. So now you are in the ideas in the concept stage only, and now there's no hard evidence to get any mentoring or financial support at this moment because you are only in the ideation stage. I'm talking about the concept stage now. So at this stage, you have to build your relationship with like-minded individuals like you. You have to expand your network, and you have to start building upon your ideas, building upon your network, and start sharing the ideas. Right. So this is the problem. This is the problem that I have. The purpose behind the problem, or this is the solution that I have come up with. This is the idea that I have. Right now, there is no hardcore evidence to show that this will work or not. But my purpose is to share the ideas with you, build upon the ideas, and expand my network. So this is what all conceptual stage is all about. Now next is pre-seed, right? So in the pre-seed, in the pre-seed stage, what happens is that now you slowly start to build your product, and you come out with something called prototype. Technically, it is called MVP, or a minimum viable product. Now, if you have to show something to your customers, potential customers, if you have something to show to your investors, what is the only thing that you can show? You can show your prototype, or you can or the minimum viable product. Now this is something that I've come up with. This MVP can be in the form of a wireframe, like it can be a video to product, just a schematic diagram of a video, or just a schematic diagram of your product or a service, and show it to your investor or show it to your potential customer. This is what I've come out with. So this is basically a prototype or an MVP. A prototype is a miniature product, right? Now, if you are say like if you're developing a drone, what would be the potential prototype, right? It can be a circuit diagram. It can be a connectivity. It can be a connectivity schematic diagram. Okay. If it is a service area, you can just show the wireframe of it. What is the problem? What is the solution? Who are the potential customers? So this is what a simple prototype or an MVP is. And next, you have to get the support of mentors here, expertise to grow your business. And who's a mentor? Basically, a mentor is someone who's acting who can act like a mirror for you. Right, and a mentor can never mince words. I mean that if your prototype is wrong, yes, it's wrong. If your idea is wrong, yes, definitely it's going to be wrong. But that it has to come from the words of an expert or a mentor, right? And this is also the time you add a co-founder to it. Understand that you're not adding your regular core members to it, right? Your team members, but you're just adding a co-founder, an ideal co-founder or a partner who's a like-minded individual and who will be interested in your ideas. A co-founder can be a technical or non-technical person, a combination of both. I recommend a woman founder too. Women, in my experience, I have seen awesome part. Right? They can juggle, they can do multiple works at one time. And if you are a tech founder, it's better you have a non-technical co-founder, because you need to have that balance. And it's important that you also have a woman co-founder on it. It adds stability to the management team, right? So the pre-seed is over. Now, when you move on to the seed now, you start registering a company. It can be LLP, it can be an MSME registration, it can be a private limited, anything of the sort that you find. That you need to talk to your auditor or a lawyer, whether you need to register as a private limited or an LLP, or just do an MSME registration, which is good enough to launch your product. And then this is also an important stage where you find that market product fit. Is my product really market fit? Right? So who are going to be your early adopters? Your family, your friends, your colleagues, your peer, people in your network, right? They are going to be the first early adopter. So you have to validate the product in order to find that this product has a fit in the market, right? Or I will call it as a market fit, right? So at this stage, you have to conduct focus surveys. You can add a simple Google form to it, simple feedback form. Ask your users to use the product, use your service, and just get their feedback. And you have to make that sort of validation with the market. So whether the market acceptance is there, whether people find comfortable, whether there's convenience, whether there's comfort, whether they find it as really applicable for their particular purpose or application. This is the product market fit that you have to do, and you have to do it with your closest network, like as I said before. And the next point is, right now it is not commercially available. It's within you. You have used it. Now we have given to a set of users who are now going to give their feedback, and based on their feedback, you're going to either improve it or you're going to take it to the next level, which is start, right? So here you conduct the market analysis. You get a clear view of what the market needs and what your product or the service is. And second point, you're going to put a concrete business plan in place. Now, I don't want to use the word concrete here. It's just a mere business plan, right? And you have developed the product. The sample product is ready now. The product is almost ready. Likely product which is almost ready. You can show it to your potential customers, and you have established the market for you, right? A small business model which also has a market for you, right? If you are developing, if your product is a herbal sanitary napkin, most of there are some women entrepreneurs in my community who have come up with herbal sanitary napkins. Who do you think their market is? Yes, menstruating women, for that, you need to establish a business model for them. What will a business model have? It will have the spec, it will have the features, it will have, what are the benefits that, you will be giving to your target users, the price, the subscription model, anything of that sort. So whatever your product or your market is, you have to come, now at this stage, you have established a business model, you have established a business plan for it, and you have a likely product as well, which will take us to the next stage, is early stage. Now you are pushing the market to a wider audience here, and the size of the market, of course, is going to widen, right? And you are moving towards an established size or a contour of a market, right? So you have slowly started to realize that this is what my market is. As I said before, what is the market for herbal sanitary napkin product? Menstruating women, around the age of 13 to menopause. It'll be ideally 41, 42. I don't know. 40, around 40. Around that point, yes, 13 to 40. So this will be the ideal market size for you, or the contour for you, right? And the last one, company may or may not move towards profitability, because we are not concerned about profitability here, but it is a very vital stage, because it is this stage, it is in this stage where you can also move for funding or seek investors support, because you need to expand, because you have an established market size, a product, likely product, which will do good in the marketplace, and you're slowly moving towards profitability, which means that you need to we need to enhance your funding or investment opportunities here. So it is at this stage that you can get the support of angel investors or the banks. Okay, I'll be telling more about what incubation is. You can also join an incubation at this stage. You can also join an incubator in the seed or startup stage, but early stage, yes, it's ideal for you to join an incubator, especially when you have a product in your hand. So mid-growth stage. So now you have an established user consumer base. People have started using your product. People have started enjoying your services. Next point, the product is commercially available in markets, in superstores, in your marketplace. If it's a B2B customers, you have started approaching company founder and CXOs, people, decision makers, and you have a commercially viable market for you. And now you have a working business model. So from a business model, now you have a business that's really starting to work, right? Giving you profits at regular intervals and as per your plans, as per your objectives. So here at this stage, you have a beautiful working business model that has started reaping results for you. And the now we have later stage, you have grown into a mature companies. Yes, you're expanding to new frontiers, new geographies, new customer models, new revenue models, because when you expand the market, not only do you move into new geographies, you establish different revenue models as well, right? So the product and service is established, and more importantly, the user consumer base is expanding. And at this stage, you can get the support of VCs, venture capitals as well, right? So this is the basic fundamental model of what a startup. We start with the ideation stage. We go to pre-stage, where you have the MVP or the prototype, the seed. When you start validating your product, when you start to assess if you have a market or a product fit, a startup stage where you have a business plan in place and you have developed the product, and you have a somewhat business model in place. Early stage, right? No, in the early stage, as I said, you're trying to establish the market. You have a wider audience, moving towards possibilities, and you seek the support of investors or the angel investors or bank prospects. And in the mid-growth stage, your user or consumer base is established, and the product is available in the marketplace with a strong business working model. And in the final, in the growth stage, you have a mature market, you have a mature product, you have an established market as well. Your product and services, yes, people have started using it. Your business model is expanding, your revenue model is expanding, as well as your consumer base. So this is the basic cycle of what a of how you can establish a startup, or how you can build upon your a startup from ideation to the growth stage. Yes, startup is equal to growth. I love this word, six-letter word, growth, because have you seen in all this in all the slides that we have seen is all about growth, right? You move from one stage to another, from the ideation stage to pre-sale, seed, startup, and so on. So startup is all about growth. Startup is also experiment. So this is a very important concept or a formula. You're literally experimenting in each and every stage for growth. Right? You have growth at one stage, you're also experimenting it. You are also exploring the various factors behind it. So that is why 90% of the startups fail. So this is a very important survey conducted by different universities all across the world, but they have come out with anonymously with one concept, which is startup failure, and that is 90% of the startups fail. So we are talking about 10% market success here. So are you within the 10% contour is what we are discussing, or what we will be discussing throughout. So 90% of the startups fail as per the Harvard or Princeton University survey. And this is it's almost a universal theme as well, right? Wherever it is, 90% of the startups fail. So I was talking about incubation, right? What exactly can an incubation do, right? So I'm not going to go deeper into it. You can take the support of mentoring. You can take up the support of technical assistance. An incubator is present in select colleges, right? In select colleges, and I'll be listing out what are the incubators that you find in Coimbatore, right? We have. So what does the incubator basically do? It has mentors. It can help in mentoring. It can provide technical assistance with technical experts or mentors, IPR. Opening access to markets, right? And you may also have digital marketing people who can educate you on the kind of digital marketing strategy that you have to do while in your market, both online and offline. And of course, we have financing, accounting service. That there will be some quality auditors who will be working with our financing model. And finance is one thing that any startup founder, whether he's a tech or a non-tech, should be well versed at. So networking is an important aspect of growing your startup. The more, network is your net worth, right? And the more you give, the more you receive, right? The more you share, the more you receive. So that is the base of that is the base concept of what networking is all about. And more importantly, you have a workspace there, right? So these are what an incubator can do, and it is present in some of the colleges or universities here. TNAU has Agribusiness Incubation Society. PhD Step has one of the best incubators in Coimbatore. PhD Step, yes, and AAC Rise has one, which is Ratnam Technical Campus. Amrita College has one. Codisia has come out with a Defense and Innovation Center, which is funded by Atal Incubation AIC Center. Of course, the AIC Raise is also funded by AIC, DST, Central Government of India. Government of India. And we have one called Cultivate, which is in Tondamutur, but the incubator is in Ganapati, right? So that is one which is run by CIT College. Forge is an accelerator come incubator. You can find it in KCT Tech Park. Incubation Center, one which is run by Bharadiyar School of Management and Entrepreneur Development, BSMED, which is one of the earliest incubation centers that came along with PhD Step. And you have private incubators, NGI, SR, which is run by the Nehru Group of Institutions, and SREC, one which was unveiled last month. I was one of the guests, when it was inaugurated. So SREC, Ramakrishna Engineering College has one called Spark, and you will find one in Kongu Engineering College called Kongu TBI. There is one in Bannari Amman Institute as well, and there is one in Katpagam. I missed it. Katpagam also has a incubation center. So these are the incubation centers where you can join, where you can go and expand your startup ideas from ideation to concept, from the concept to seed and pre-seed. So these are the incubators that you can find in Coimbatore, because we have some in the Kongu region as well. So I'm not going in depth into why a startup fail or why it may succeed. hundreds of reasons for it. So these are some of the world's most valuable brands. 2020, they're all startups. I love these brands, and some of the most loved brands throughout the world: Amazon, Apple, Google, Microsoft, all startups at one stage. Now they have grown incredibly. But most tech startups, we can find that there are mostly tech startups, and within the top 10 10 most valuable, you can find at least 6 of them are tech startups, which shows the potential of what technology can do to a startup, right? And these are in terms of numbers. So US is leading right now, around 62 around startups, followed by India, UK, Canada, Indonesia, Germany, Australia, France, Spain, and Brazil, and so on. So India is the second largest ecosystem in the world. That is, it has the most number of startups in Asia. So we can take pride in that. But USA is leading at the moment, and it has always led in the front from ever since it started Silicon Valley and all those the startup ecosystem things started happening. And India is India is far second now. And on the right side, you will find the number of startups. Tamil Nadu has around 11,500 startups at the moment. Kerala has around 6,500 startups. Karnataka has around 20,000 startups, far ahead of us. This is a survey, I think 2021-22. I don't have the recent survey now, which of course you can find on Startup India. So Delhi has around 23,000 startups as of now. UP followed by UP, 19,000 startups. Maharashtra has the highest number of startups in India, 32,284. And then we have Gujarat has around 13,000 startups. Rajasthan has around 6,500 startups. So this is ecosystem. This is the ecosystem that India has built. The number of startups, region-wise or state-wise. These are my most favorite brands, startups. Paytm, of course, we use it. Byju's, Oyo, Ola, Swiggy, all big numbers, all startups that have raised huge funds, making huge money. It has withered all storm, recession, economic instabilities, and it has taken the Indian ecosystem to next level. And these are the startups that any startup can look upon to for inspiration or for motivation. And these are some of my favorite Coimbatore startup brands: Health Basics, Biofuel. Health Basics is into it's an aggregator of health startups. Biofuel is, again, as the name suggests, it is into alternate fuels. Juicy Chemistry, one of the best organic startups that have come up in recent time. Real Studio, if you have watched Kocharian movie, or if you have watched another ad, it is I think it's a Dubai. It's a Dindikal Talapakattu biryani. Yes, I remember. So that was done by Real Studio, and Kocharian's film, the effects, the visual effects, all been done by Real Studio. It is in Ganapati. So the next is you, right? So who's going to be the next startup? Of course, it's going to be you, and if you follow the process, right? So thank you so much for the opportunity. I think it's a very short, though bit comprehensive details on what a startup is, how we can really build a startup, what are the components of a startup, what are the stages of a startup, and the incubators that you can join. Of course, there are 100 reasons which I want to share, but I don't want to because this is a primer to what a startup is, what a startup demands of you, the kind of the motivational aspect, the financial aspect, the kind of effort that you want to put. So I don't want to go into how a startup may fail, but it's all about how you can build a startup. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for the opportunity.
It was nice, sir. Thanks for a very crisp and insightful presentation. Unfortunately, there are a lot of semester exams are on, and That's the reason the attendance is thin, or else usually we will have at least minimum 50-60 students.
The number is not, sir. The number is not the real juice. It's about the quality of people that we have.
Absolutely.
That is the juice.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let us put the floor. Let us put this session into the floor, and if there are any people, I mean, if there are any individuals who have doubts, yes, you can ask them. You can just unmute your mic, and if you have any doubts, yes, put it across, please.
Yes, individuals, you can unmute and ask, sir. All
Shamir, this is Ananthapadmanabhan. Thank you for your wonderful presentation. And
Thank
nobody
you,
could
sir.
have done it better.
Thank you, sir.
Nobody could have done it because you are a veteran in startup and you are the right person to talk on this subject. I'm traveling from Trichy to Bangalore, so I'm just on my mobile. But I have got two questions, Shamir, for you.
Yes,
One is, can you let us know something about seed funding? And secondly, for a startup, is it better to go for funding, maybe like venture capital or some investors, or to do a bootstrapped company to start with? What is your advice for startups?
Sir, I think both questions are interrelated. If you take Coimbatore, for example, if you take Coimbatore, do you think that most startups are funded? It is not a culture it is not the Kongu culture. Can I use it as Kongu culture? I don't know, but there are a lot of cultures here in Coimbatore. But it is not in a culture, it is not in the DNA to get funding from a startup, sir. So most of the startup that I have seen in Coimbatore, especially Kongu region, Salem, they're all bootstrapped, right, sir? They're all bootstrapped. And coming to seed funding, whether you want, and what is the best? One is once you have transformed your ideation into prototype. So that is the first stage that you can approach an angel investor, right?
Okay.
And no banks will give you funding at that point of time, right?
Okay.
You can apply it. You can apply funding, in DIC, but then still you have to show something that demands that you need a machine for an equipment for developing your product, your startup product. So that is one thing. When I approached DIC in Coimbatore, I approached for 15 lakhs loan. That was seed funding that I got from DIC, government of Tamil Nadu supported. The one thing that they asked me is whether your startup is in the growth stage, right? So that's a very key component. You approach any investor if you want during the seed stage. Now, if you want seed, what are the early adopters that you have? Have people started sensing your product, or have a first-hand feel of your product? Got a first-hand feel of your product? So that is one thing that you need to be very sure about. So are there early adopters for my product for seed funding? So that is the only thing. And you can approach angel investors, as I told you before. And there are a lot of grants, sir. But instead of seed funding, I really can't understand one thing, that why are startups behind funding? There are a lot of grants available. See, I'm a part of startup T in Tansam department. I'm heading the Coimbatore North Circle. There are a lot of grants available for SC/ST funds. We have around 50,000. We have around 50 crores. I think you are in the community, my community. I have
Yes.
today, right, 50 crores. So if you belong to the SC or the SC community, you can very well go for such funds. And we have TANSEED 15 lakhs as well. The equity is very low. Earlier it was a grant, and there are grants which is available in Startup India as well. But why are not people after funds? That is my question. You have a lot of grants available. You have grants. If you have a social impact startup, there are grants provided by corporates as well. CSR funds, UN provides it. So grants, this is one thing you can check online, sir. So don't go after funding. There are a lot of grants available. And then if you are a real Coimbatorian, I can say your startup is 100% bootstrap, right? Nobody goes after funding, sir. Once they have escalated into the profits, that this is the stage where they go for the seed C or a seed D round of funding. Other than that, they don't go for funding at all. I hope I answered your question, sir.
Yes. Thank you. Only thing is, if you go for funding, sometimes your creativity or your freedom to really change your product or change course becomes difficult.
Yes, sir. And it is very important that you need to have a dynamic relationship with your investors as well. Most
Correct.
people, they go for funding, but are there alignments with your investor in terms of values, in terms of in terms of your objectives, in terms of vision? If there is no alignment of vision, objectives, value between you and your investor, I think that is where most startups fail.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, and thank you, Ananda Padmanabhan sir, for joining the meet as well.
Yeah,
I know
it is my,
you're very busy.
I know I'm just traveling, but I thought we should really listen to this presentation.
Thank you,
you
sir.
so
Thank
much
you
for
so
your
much.
presentation again.
I hope you, as a feedback, can you just say a few words about my sessions today as a
No,
feedback?
it was it was really a very good session, and especially even for people like us, we really did not understand the various levels of startups, and very start of the definition of startup itself was very interesting. So I think you are able to talk about all the building blocks, and anybody who has got an idea to the time he goes into MVP and starts marketing it, I think it was good. I think it was a very good presentation for people who want to have a startup.
Thank you, sir. It means a lot.
Thank you very
sir.
much. Yeah, it was very good.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So anybody who have doubts, or can I have two more feedbacks, please?
Sir, there is a
Just to close the
question.
session.
There's a question in the chat from Mr. Palniappan. From your perspective, what sectors or industries do you see as particularly promising for startups in the current business landscape?
Okay, so okay, for tech, I think AI, artificial for tech, I mean, for tech-based sector, in tech-based sector, I can say artificial intelligence. Big data is emerging. Artificial intelligence is moving. It started from Google, ChatGPT. A lot of tools, a lot of startups coming up in artificial intelligence. A lot of funding is going into it. So artificial intelligence, big data, AR, VR, augmented reality, virtual reality, robotics, drone, right? Biomedical instrumentation. So tech plus biomedical, right? A combination of biomedical and tech, which is also emerging in healthcare sectors. On the non-tech side, I find a lot of opportunity in the food sector, especially millets. The government has announced, the Indian government has announced 2003 as the International Year of Millets. Sorry, not the government. It is the UN that has announced 2003 as the International Year of Millets. So, a lot of opportunities in traditional rice, as we call Parambariya Arisi Vagaigal, and millets, right? Navadhanyagal. And it has huge opportunities for research, even if you are a supplier, and a lot of value-added products that I'm seeing through millets this year. And we have in my community itself, we have around 50 to 60 startups that are purely focused on millets. So food is a huge area where you can invest in terms of production, even in terms of technology, where you can apply artificial intelligence to increase the food production as well.
Nice. Participants, any more questions? Sir, you have been addressing a lot of colleges and forums. So what's your opinion on this generation, sir? The college students, once they come out, are they inclined towards going for a startup? How is their mindset? Or still they are on looking for placements only?
It's a very imperative question. It's a very vital question. I thought somebody may ask you, but then I think you are the right fit. You are the right person to ask. Anyways, I'm changing on one side, sir. There are two sides of the coin. So one, I can see that there are some positive things happening in the ecosystem. It's purely because the ecosystem is developing, and we have a lot of institutional connects now with the ecosystem. Startup TN is also coming out with an incubator program that works closely with incubators in the institutions. But mind you, only 10% of the students are interested, right? 90% of the students are moving towards placement, right? So that is on the negative side. Students are still apprehensive about starting a startup. There are a lot of socio-cultural factors here. My parents are not accepting it. I have problems at home, economic problems at home, and the biggest here is fear, right? In spite of that, I find a lot of startups that have been coming in, campus startups or institutional startups that have been coming in different colleges. I'm so happy about it, but the turnaround rate is very, very less, and I can very well put it around 7 to 8%. And in spite of that, a lot of efforts have been taken by the institution to promote startup entrepreneurship in that colleges. Hopefully, I think if we can take that number to around 15 to 20%, would be a very good number, where we will have 10 to 12 startups coming out of the colleges every year. But right now, the number is just 3 to 4 startups.
Okay, thank you. Yes, as you rightly said, that apprehension is still there with many students. They have a lot of aspirations and ambitions, and finally, socio-cultural factor it again hinders or becomes an obstacle for most of them.
And you have a lot of placement opportunities today. So those colleges which had only 50% placement now give 100% placement, which means that the students still want to be in the comfort zone, right? Only when you come out of the comfort zone, you can think of a broader vision, of a broader idea, and that is where you start thinking of problems. When you are in that comfort zone, where you have this placements of the huge paychecks happening, I don't think the condition is going to change. What requires is entrepreneurship is a mindset. So the key point is entrepreneurship is a mindset, and they have to inhibit the fears, and they have to consider this at the mind level to start something substantial in the startup ecosystems.
Nice. Participants, anyone has any questions to sir? Any feedbacks you would like to share with sir?
Yeah, I think I'll be happy to hear 2 feedbacks considering the time factor. Yes, paucity of time. Yes, 2 feedbacks I'll be happy with. I can of course leave on a happy note.
It was a very nice session, and the slides what you presented were actually it's able to connect with the audience.
Okay.
It was not that complicated, whatever it is. It was very well in line with the audience who are attending this session actually. And also you made it more practical also. You started bringing out some examples, and you started actually deliberating it so very well with each and every slide. Definitely, it was a very nice session. Absolutely, there is no second thought. It was a nice session, but unfortunately, because of the semester exams and all these things, the attendance is thin. Otherwise, many students would have got benefited out of this session. That was our wish always.
Thank you so much. Hopefully, I get another opportunity where I find more students coming to the meeting.
I think Shamir, we should organize one session for you with at least about 70 or 80 students.
Yes.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
yeah.
We'll plan, sir.
We'll plan.
Yes. With all supporters, with all huge active supporters like you, I think we can have more sessions.
Sure. We will do that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.
So on behalf of Coimbatore Management Association, I would like to thank today's speaker, Mr. Shamir, for spending his valuable time with us. Thank you, sir, for giving us such an enlightening session.
Thank you.
I also thank all the participants and student chapter members who have taken out the time to attend this session. So once again, thank you all from CMA. I meet you all once again in next Monday Musings. Until thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.